Welcome to the Nest TV Module 3. Today we're going to be talking about how we can cope with powerlessness in the workplace. Every day at the Nest, you're asked to work so hard and with your whole heart, and then you're asked to let go of the outcome of all of that work that you do. We know that this can be difficult, but there are ways, even just in perspective, on how to make this work a little easier. If you're feeling anxious or discontented with someone's behavior in the home or the decisions that they're making, it usually comes from a simple belief. You want the best for every single person who you work with. But sometimes it's more than just a belief. Sometimes you just know that the person who you're looking at deserves much better than they ever seem to be giving to themselves. You're not here by accident, and you didn't come to this house by chance. You have been through hardship. You're resilient. You're working with your heart because you know deep down that your experience is going to make a difference in somebody's life. We think so too. Never forget this. We think that you're extraordinary, and so do the residents. The trick is that the work here is to help the residents wake up to how extraordinary they are too. Often, by seeing it in you, they can begin to see it in themselves. But this is going to happen in their own way, on their own terms, and on their own time. The AIDS Resource Foundation for Children makes everyone feel like they are part of a big family. And you are. You already do, or you will grow to love the residents like they're part of your own family. But that also means that you might be standing by when a resident makes a decision that you disagree with or that's harmful to themselves. And this is when things get difficult. No one likes to see the people that they love struggle or live a life less than what they deserve. So how can you support and guide, love and trust, and also watch alongside as someone grows into themselves and makes all of the joy and mistakes and risks that becoming who you really are entails? Luckily, we don't have to brave this question without help. Let's first look at an ancient piece of wisdom. The Serenity Prayer. God, grant me the strength to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Before we look at this, I want you to know that you don't have to be of any kind of religion or denomination to benefit from the wisdom of this prayer. Everyone can benefit from what it teaches, and for today, we're just going to look at the words. To me, this prayer means that when you focus on the things that you can't control, like a resident's behavior or their addiction, you will find that there's a lot. But when you put your focus on what is in your power to do, you will also find that there's a lot. Things are often how we look at them. Notice that it's called the Serenity Prayer, because that's what owning what is in your power to control and letting go in the rest provides in your life. Maybe serenity is taking complete ownership of what is in our power to do and learning how to live with and let go of the rest. Here are a few tips for thinking about that balance. We start by radically accepting all of the things that we cannot change. We cannot change or control the experiences a person has had before we met them. We cannot control the effects that these experiences are having on a person's decision or behavior. As we learned in the first module of this series, trauma happens, and it happens commonly. most of the people in the home who you meet will have experienced a trauma either firsthand or through witnessing it happen to someone that they were close with. When we accept a resident into the home, we accept that there are things that have happened that are impacting the way a resident feels about themselves today. One common effect of trauma is substance use disorder. You will see residents in the home who desperately want to get sober, but really struggle along the path. What you can accept is that relapse is often a part of a person's journey into recovery, and you could be there to remind them that while it's happening. You can't control if it happens, but you can unconditionally support a person. Trauma seems to haunt people. It comes back in nightmares or flashbacks or through triggers like songs or conversations or even a remembered day or season that something happened. Survivors often feel very powerless over their past as it continues to invade their present day. This is how the brain works after trauma. We cannot control that past is part of the present. Now let's take a look at the second part of this prayer and focus on having the courage to change what is in your control to change. The only thing you'll truly ever be able to control is how you respond to any given situation. If circumstances in the home feel erratic or chaotic, how can you be the steady and reliable presence in the home? How can you be that calm in the storm? One way is that accepting that working in this kind of environment where you care so deeply and you're working with your heart will have an effect on you. What resources do you have? Who do you talk to? What do you do to practice self-care? And what does the home trigger within you and your own experience? You can control the way you take care of yourself. If you are accepting of what you can and cannot do and what you can and cannot change, then you can normalize it when you see it in another person, especially when a resident is struggling. Sometimes the only thing we can do is say, that's okay, that's normal, I get that, and it's going to be okay. People in general just need a reminder that they're not alone. Now let's look at the last part of the prayer, the wisdom to know the difference. If you put all of your focus on one resident who you wish would stop drinking, how many opportunities have you missed to help another person who is present and willing and just waiting for somebody to talk to? Doesn't acknowledge the person who's really struggling and show them that you could be there for them, but you accept that somebody else's problem is not yours to solve or to fix or to determine when it's solved or fixed. If you're struggling to accept a person's behavior or decisions, look within yourself. Often, the things that we are most troubled by, we've been troubled by ourselves, whether it's through our own experience or through somebody else that we care about. Generally, if something is bothering you a lot in the home, it's an inside job for you to look at and see, how is this affecting me and what can I do? Finally, you will never, ever know the difference that you make. Think about how many times a stranger's smile or the smallest gesture has made you go from feeling alone to feeling seen. If you're obsessing about one thing, you're missing the hundreds of ways that you impact others. Trust that who you are, how you speak, what you do, and how you show up is making a difference all the time. When we accept our own powerlessness, we also get to accept what is in our control to do. If we're obsessing about the past or about the future, it's probably that we're not accepting what's happening right now, what we can do right now, who we are right now, who we're working with right now. To wrap up this training, I want you to think about how you could be here without also being in tomorrow. Thanks so much for joining me for this module, and don't miss the reflection questions and the appendix pages for a discussion with your residential coordinator. See you next time.